Wayne McCurrie, Portfolio Manager at FNB Wealth and Investments, joins me now to discuss today's market movements. Wayne, as always, many thanks for your time. I mean, the JSE really reeling from what's happening with your industrial and the resources stocks. Those were the biggest laggards on today's trading day.
Yes, very much so. So we saw our two biggest shares, Naspers and Prosus, come down, but the real weakness is in the mining sector. So it's really right across the board, but it's more the platinum and gold shares that have come under pressure, and these have been under pressure for a while. You know, some of them are well off their highs that we saw a few months ago, and to me it's quite clear that the resource cycle has turned down.
Right, when we have to get into some company news now, a big one that came out today, Capitec being vindicated from basically being labelled a loan shark by Viceroy Research in 2018. That research firm now has to pay a fine of 50 million, but they say they're going to challenge it. Your thoughts?
Well, I suppose they're entitled to challenge it. The real problem with their report was that it wasn't factual. I mean, all the bad things they said about Capitec turned out not to be true. I mean, everyone can have an opinion, right or wrong, about a company, but when you actually give incorrect factual information in your report, I think that's the biggest reason why they've got this fine. And it's a massive fine, make no mistake, because clearly they were manipulating the share price to their own gain.
That's right. Some other company news out today, Momentum, they obviously saw a lot of trouble with those death claims that increased significantly. Your thoughts on the numbers that they released today?
Well, look, obviously we assume that these death claims and the big increase in mortality is a one-off, that, you know, once most of the population is vaccinated, we will tremendously reduce the amount of sick people and the amount of deaths. So if this is a one-off, which, you know, as I said, I assume it is, the actual underlying results were reasonably good. That's why the share price, after initially being down earlier in the day when the results came out, is actually up 1 or 2%. So it's one of the very few gainers on the market today, because the new business sales were quite good. You know, the value of new business was quite good. It was really just these very large provisions for the excess deaths that they haven't provided for yet that brought the results down.
Right, and then another company, this time it was the interim results, Wayne, Libstar. They're showing that the consumer is still severely under pressure, and it may take some time for us to see a full recovery, particularly for a Libstar that operates in the consumer space.
Yeah, look, I mean, the results weren't that bad. Obviously, we all know that consumer expenditure has come under pressure, but it is certainly recovering a lot faster than what was envisioned a couple of months ago. So their business, the main part of their business, which is really house brands for all the big supermarket chains, and then their own brands in mushrooms and dairy, actually doing reasonably well. The smaller part of their business, the personal goods section, didn't do too well, but they did come under some margin pressure. In other words, they can't pass all of the price increases onto the consumer for the very reasons that you said.
Wayne McCurrie, as always, many thanks for your time this afternoon. He was giving us a wrap of the markets day that was. So we'll be back